It was a cold, gray morning in a quiet little town when the first cries were heard. Faint, almost like whispers on the wind, they came from behind an abandoned shed at the edge of a field. Most people walked by without noticing. But to 9-year-old Emily, out walking with her father, the sound was unmistakable. "Daddy, something's crying," she said, tugging at his sleeve. He paused, listened, and together they followed the tiny voice. Behind the shed, hidden beneath a pile of damp cardboard, was a heartbreaking sight, a skinny, frail mother cat, her fur matted with dirt and old blood, lying nearly lifeless. Curled against her trembling body were 4 tiny kittens, barely days old, eyes still closed, pressing into her for warmth. The mother's breathing was slow and shallow. Her eyes opened weakly when she saw them, but she didn't move. She couldn't. Emily gasped and dropped to her knees. "We have to help her," she said, tears filling her eyes. Her father hesitated. He had grown up learning that stray animals rarely survived. But there was something about the way Emily reached out, how the mother cat blinked softly at her, that changed his heart in that moment. "Okay," he said quietly, pulling off his jacket. They wrapped the small feline family gently, trying not to hurt the fragile mother. On the way to the nearby animal clinic, Emily sat in the back seat cradling the bundled cats, whispering, "It's okay now, you're not alone." At the clinic, things looked grim. The vet shook her head slowly. "The mother is severely dehydrated and malnourished. I don't know how she kept these kittens alive." Emily didn't let go of her hand. "She didn't give up," she whispered. "Please don't give up on her." That was the beginning of a miracle. The vet clinic smelled like antiseptic and quiet hope. As soon as the door closed behind them, the receptionist looked up in surprise. Emily rushed forward, holding the bundled jacket tightly, while her father explained what they had found. A nurse quickly took the bundle and disappeared into the back, leaving Emily standing there with her heart pounding. She had never felt this scared before, not even during thunderstorms or bad dreams. Her chest felt heavy, like something big and invisible was sitting on it. All she could think was, "Please let them live." Dr. Harper, the veterinarian, came out a few minutes later. Her face was serious, but kind. She knelt down to Emily's level and said softly, "You did the right thing, sweetheart. The mother cat is very weak, but she's fighting. The kittens, well, they're hungry and cold, but they're still strong. That's a good sign." Emily clutched her father's hand tightly. "Can I see them?" Dr. Harper smiled just a little. "Soon. Let's give them a little time to settle. We've put them under warm lights and started fluids for the mother. She's hanging on, probably because of those kittens. She hasn't taken her eyes off them once." That evening, Emily didn't want to go home. She sat in the waiting room for hours, coloring quietly in her notebook while her father read on his phone. 2 weeks passed. Hope was slowly gaining weight, eating soft food, and even purring quietly when Emily scratched behind her ears. The kittens were thriving, tumbling over each other like little clouds, always chasing their tails or curling up in one big fuzzy ball. But then, something unexpected happened. One morning, when Emily and her father arrived, they found the clinic unusually quiet. Dr. Harper met them at the door, her expression heavy. "Emily," she said gently, "can we talk for a minute?" Emily's heart dropped. Dr. Harper led them into her office and closed the door. "Hope had a seizure last night. We ran some tests. She's been hiding a much more serious condition than we thought. We believe she has advanced kidney failure. It's something we often see in strays who've gone too long without proper care." Emily stared at her, frozen. Is she going to die?" Dr. Harper hesitated, then nodded slowly. "We're doing everything we can to keep her comfortable. But she may only have days left. Maybe a week." Emily's eyes filled with tears. Her father put an arm around her shoulders, but she didn't lean into it. She was too still. "Can I see her?" she asked quietly. Dr. Harper led them to Hope's room. She was lying in her usual spot, but her breathing was slower. Her eyes, though open, seemed more distant. Emily knelt beside her and gently stroked her head. "I'm here," she whispered. "I'm not going anywhere." And for the rest of the day, she didn't. She sat beside Hope, reading her stories, humming songs, whispering memories. She told her about the day they found her, how brave she had been, how strong. She promised to take care of the kittens, always. That night, before they left, Hope raised her head weakly and licked Emily's hand. It was the first time she had ever done that. The next morning, Emily woke up early. Her chest ached from crying, but something in her heart felt different. Stronger. She remembered the look in Hope's eyes, the peace, the trust, the soft lick on her hand. It was as if Hope had passed something on to her, a kind of quiet courage. When Emily and her father arrived at the clinic, the staff greeted them gently. Everyone had loved Hope. Even the gruff old vet technician, Mark, had admitted she was something special. "Some animals," he said, rubbing his beard, "they don't just survive, they inspire." Emily walked straight to the back room. The crate was empty, but the kittens were in a warm incubator nearby. They looked smaller somehow without their mother wrapped around them, but they were safe. That mattered. Dr. Harper joined her and knelt beside the incubator. "I know today is hard," she said softly. "But Hope did what she needed to do. She brought them this far. Now, they need you." Emily nodded. Her throat was tight, but she managed a small smile. "I'll take care of them. I promise." For the next few weeks, Emily visited every day. She learned how to prepare formula just right, how to hold each kitten gently but firmly, how to check their weight and help them go potty with warm cotton balls. She named them too: Luna, Bean, Shadow, and Muffin. Each one had a personality already. Luna was the curious one, always climbing over her siblings. Bean loved to sleep. Shadow was shy, and Muffin had a meow that sounded like a squeaky toy. The kittens grew stronger, fluffier, braver. They began to play, pawing at strings and tumbling over each other like tiny circus performers. Emily laughed more now. She still missed Hope terribly, but she felt her presence everywhere, in the way the kittens curled up together, in the way Luna sometimes stared at her with those wise, quiet eyes. One afternoon, a young couple came into the clinic. They had seen photos of the kittens online and wanted to adopt. Emily's heart tightened at the thought. She knew this day would come, but it didn't make it easier. Dr. Harper gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "You don't have to decide right now. But when the time comes, you'll know who needs to stay." Emily watched as the couple played with the kittens. They were kind and gentle, and the kittens seemed to like them. But something inside Emily whispered, "They're not ready to leave yet." Not yet. She asked Dr. Harper if she could foster the kittens until they were a little older. To her surprise, her father agreed. "I think it's what Hope would have wanted," he said. So, they brought them home. Emily's room transformed into a kitten nursery. There were blankets in every corner, tiny food dishes lined up like little soldiers, and toys scattered across the floor. Emily didn't mind the mess. It was a happy mess. A living, purring reminder that something beautiful had come from something broken. Her friends came over to visit, to ooh and ah over the kittens, to help feed and play and cuddle. Even the quiet neighbor, Mr. Danvers, brought over a small cat tree he had built by hand. "My wife used to rescue cats," he said softly. "She would have liked you." Days turned into weeks, and the kittens grew faster than Emily could have imagined. Luna figured out how to climb on the bed. Bean discovered how to open drawers. Shadow became bolder, and Muffin started sleeping on Emily's chest every night, like he belonged there. One evening, Emily sat in her room with the kittens curled around her, the soft hum of music in the background. Her father peeked in and smiled. "You've done a good thing, Em." She looked down at the sleeping kittens, her eyes full of quiet pride. "They saved me too." That night, she had a dream. Hope was there. Sitting in a sunlit field, healthy and whole, watching the kittens play. She turned to Emily and gave that same slow blink, the one she gave on their first day. No words, just peace. Emily woke with tears in her eyes. But this time, they weren't only from sadness. They were from love. Life at home with the kittens became a beautiful rhythm. Every morning, Emily would wake up to the soft patter of tiny paws and the gentle nudge of Muffin's head against her cheek. Feeding, cleaning, playing, napping, it was work, yes, but it didn't feel like a burden. It felt like purpose. The sadness of losing hope was still there, quietly tucked in the corners of her heart, but it was softer now, surrounded by purrs and whiskers and warm fur. One Saturday afternoon, Emily sat in the garden with the kittens tumbling around her. The sun warmed her face, and a gentle breeze carried the scent of fresh-cut grass. Luna climbed up her shoulder, mewing into her ear, while Shadow chased a butterfly across the patio. Bean rolled lazily in the dirt, and Muffin curled up in Emily's lap, his tiny heart beating steadily against her leg. Her father watched from the porch, sipping lemonade. "You've done something amazing here," he said. Emily looked at the kittens and smiled. "They saved me just as much as I saved them." Later that evening, as she cleaned out their food bowls, her phone buzzed. It was a message from Dr. Harper. "Are you ready to talk about adoption options? We've had more inquiries." Emily stared at the message for a long time. She knew the kittens couldn't stay forever. But the thought of letting them go made her heart ache. She walked back into her room, where the kittens were curled up in a warm pile. "How do I choose?" she whispered. She picked up Luna first, holding her close. Luna purred and licked her chin. Then she cradled Bean, who blinked sleepily. Shadow nuzzled under her arm, and Muffin, as always, crawled onto her chest and settled there. The tears came quietly. "I don't want to let you go." The next day, Emily visited the clinic with all 4 kittens. Dr. Harper had arranged a few families to meet them. One by one, kind faces knelt down to pet and hold the kittens. Luna instantly bonded with a young girl named Mia, who had lost her own cat the year before. Bean curled up on an elderly man's lap, purring so loudly everyone laughed. Shadow hid at first but eventually warmed up to a gentle boy who spoke softly and waited patiently. But Muffin never left Emily's side. When the time came to finalize adoptions, Emily felt surprisingly calm. She had seen joy on those kids' faces. She had seen trust in the kittens' eyes. It was right. She handed Luna to Mia, Bean to the elderly man, and Shadow to the boy. Each goodbye was bittersweet, filled with hugs and promises and quiet tears. But when Dr. Harper looked at Muffin and raised an eyebrow, Emily shook her head. "He's already home," she said. Adjusting to life with just Muffin was quieter, but no less full. Emily had grown used to the chaos of 4 tiny cats, so having just one was almost peaceful. Muffin became her constant companion, sitting beside her during homework, waiting by the bathroom door, curling up next to her during movies. They shared everything. When Emily was sad, Muffin would curl against her chest, pawing gently at her face until she smiled. When she laughed, he would roll over on his back as if joining in. He followed her to school drop-offs, watched her brush her hair, and even learned to paw open her sock drawer just to sleep on her clothes. Emily's bond with Muffin wasn't just that of a pet and owner, it was something deeper. They were both survivors of loss, both healing in each other's presence. One cold night, Emily couldn't sleep. She walked into the living room and found Muffin staring out the window. Snow was falling gently, blanketing the world in silence. Emily sat beside him, wrapping them both in a soft blanket. "Do you remember your mama?" she whispered. Muffin purred and leaned into her. I hope she knows you're okay." Emily often wondered if Hope had known how loved she was at the end. If she had felt safe. If she had trusted her enough to let go, knowing Emily would carry her legacy. Sometimes, Emily would tell Muffin stories about Hope, how brave she was, how soft her fur had been, how she had looked at her that day in the alley. And Muffin would listen, quiet and still, as if he remembered too. Then one day, something unexpected happened. Dr. Harper called. "Emily, we have another situation. A stray mother cat just gave birth behind a grocery store. She's sick, and the kittens are cold. I know it's a lot to ask, but..." "I'll be there," Emily said without hesitation. When she arrived, the mother cat was frail, barely responsive. The kittens, 5 of them, were mewling softly, nestled against her weak body. Emily gently scooped them up, wrapping them in warm towels. At the clinic, they worked together to stabilize the mother. She was scared, but Emily's presence seemed to calm her. Dr. Harper smiled. "It's like they know you." Emily took the kittens home, just for a while, she said. But Muffin sniffed them all and lay down beside them, purring like a proud big brother. And just like that, the rescue cycle began again. Months passed. Seasons changed. Emily grew, both in years and in strength. So did Muffin. And so did the legacy of Hope. Emily never set out to become a rescuer. But with every cat she helped, every tiny life she held close, she felt something deeper awaken inside her. A sense of calling. A quiet truth: sometimes the most broken hearts make the best healers. The new kittens grew strong under her care. Some stayed longer than others. Some found homes right away. But all of them knew love, thanks to a girl who once knelt beside a dying cat in an alley and whispered, "I see you." One evening, while scrolling through old photos on her phone, Emily stopped on the one Dr. Harper had taken the day Hope passed away. Hope's eyes, though tired, held peace. And wrapped around her were the kittens, safe, fed, loved. A miracle in a box. Emily smiled. "You did it, Hope. We both did." She hung that photo in her room, right above Muffin's bed. Life didn't stay perfect. There were tough days. There were losses. But there was also laughter, celebration, and joy in the little things: a kitten's first purr, a soft nuzzle, a paw resting on her arm as she drifted to sleep. Emily and Muffin eventually started visiting schools, teaching kids about kindness to animals. They held bake sales for local shelters. They even began a small blog called Hope Lives Here, where they shared rescue stories that touched hearts across the country. Emily knew she couldn't save every animal. But she had learned something important: saving one makes all the difference to that one. Even the smallest act of kindness can become a lifeline. One moment of love. One choice to care. One whisper of, "I see you," can change everything. The most broken hearts often hold the most powerful healing. Have you ever rescued or helped an animal in need, or wished you could? What did that moment teach you about love and trust?